trap is set for Bitcoin. After every single major liquidation event, we do tend to see the same happen for the Bitcoin price action. So that is what we need to discuss within today's update video. We will discuss a lot more than only that, like all of the most important Bitcoin charts and price data. I will give a big update on my Ethereum trading position, and of course I will give my outlook on altcoins and the upcoming altcoin season. So from there guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content. Since Bitcoin is repeating a pattern we've seen before, and we should compare this Bitcoin correction here with all of the other large liquidation events in the crypto market. Of course, we do know what happened after this COVID liquidation event, where we saw a big V-shaped recovery before eventually more upside. I don't think Bitcoin is going to repeat this exact pattern, like of the same magnitude, but what I do think that it is going to be likely for Bitcoin to make a V-shaped recovery in the near future before eventually heading higher, but not before one major trap could be playing out in the short term, and that is the fact that indeed during these large liquidation events we tend to see a second dump after the first major liquidation event. For example, on Black Monday in 2024 we saw this major wick which did get partially filled up later here in September during the first tariff crash, basically the first trading war between the USA and China. We saw a major liquidation event and then eventually another wick lower, and now we've seen one big liquidation flush here, but ultimately we could still see one correction before more upside is going to be coming. I don't think this has to happen, but historically wise this tends to happen for Bitcoin after such a large correction to the downside. But after that is going to occur, I do think we are going to see a major pushback to the top side, also initiating the final wave of the cycle, not like we saw during COVID, but we will see a V-shaped recovery and a big move afterwards. I personally think this does make a lot of sense, because looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, all of the liquidity is now stacking up above us at the all-time high levels, and under us there's almost no liquidity left. All the longs were getting swiped out by this, of course, major wick here, and there is not a lot of long liquidity left here, only short liquidity at the top side. And we do know that the market tends to move to the places where the most liquidity is laying and stacking up. So for me, it would make a lot of sense to eventually still see that in the ending stage of the cycle, because I personally don't think this Bitcoin cycle is over for now. Of course, what is going to be important for Bitcoin here is holding above this major support level, because here you can clearly see how many times this was major resistance or support for Bitcoin in the past. So yes, this is indeed going to be a major and very important level. If Bitcoin is going to lose this level, yes, then we might turn a little bit more bearish. But for now, Bitcoin is still holding up above that level, which is, in my opinion, looking very good. Also holding up above the bull market support band, exactly bouncing from there once again. And now we also did break below the bull market support band with that major wick. And every time we saw that from Bitcoin correction, we've always seen a major bounce after breaking below the bull market support band. So if history could be repeating here for the final wave of the cycle, it is inevitably going to be bullish, in my opinion. Like stated, it was one of the biggest liquidation events ever. We do know that by now, but just once again, in perspective, it was so much bigger than FTX and COVID, by far the largest liquidation event ever. And that's why, of course, now only still short liquidity is stacking up at the top side there. But of course, all of this happened because of the USA and China situation, a new possible trade war coming up with US tariffs going in on the 1st of November, seems like for now. But we saw some news coming out this morning, and that is that China says it will stand firm on the US tariffs. It does not want a trade war, but it's also not going to be scared to participate in a trade war, basically. So that's the news we have seen coming out. I do think tomorrow and the days after are going to be highly volatile, maybe even one of the most volatile days we've seen in quite a long time for both the US stock market and the crypto market. And most definitely tomorrow's US stock market open is going to be very important once again. October is now a red month, and that is going to be a very bullish signal in my opinion, because every single time we saw this, it was during a bear market. And in my opinion, it's not a bear market yet. So that means it is going to be a buy opportunity here. And I am making use of that with my Ethereum trading position. I will now give a big update on exactly that, because I am now still in a 25k position on Ethereum here. I've been adding at the 3.8k level and the 3.6k level in this major push to the downside here, because I had some limit orders open actually. Unfortunately not at the 3.4k level, but I was not expecting Ethereum to drop that low. But I have managed to keep my position open there because of my limit orders. I'm still in a slight little loss, but luckily I did not get liquidated. And I do think this Ethereum trade is going to perform amazingly in the ending stage of the cycle. So I'm looking forward to exactly that. I still have a little bit left. Maybe I will be depositing more in this account to build an even bigger Ethereum trade, because as Ethereum is going to drop lower, I will be adding more, because I don't think the cycle is over. One final push for Ethereum would make a lot of sense for me. And if you do want to trade with me on LBANK, for example this Ethereum trade, or a lot of other altcoin pairs, make sure to check out the link here, because there you can claim $200 and also a 100% deposit bonus. So make sure to check it out. I think during the dip it's going to be the time to claim bonuses like this, so you can truly take advantage also of the next move coming up here. But yeah, if you're going to click on that link, you will get redirected to exactly this page where you can claim your bonus. It's still available for about 2 days here, so make sure to do it now, because this is not going to return. This is your last chance to exactly claim the offer. Of course, in no way financial advice, but if you do want to support the channel and if you do want to claim a nice bonus for yourself, make sure to sign up on LBANK here and claim your bonus. And now let's dive back into the Ethereum chart, because there we can see that also Ethereum did bounce on the bull market support band. And the last time we saw this happen for Ethereum, we basically saw this major wave to the top side before eventually now retesting the bull market support band once again. And since I still have a lot of conviction in Ethereum here for the ending stage of the cycle, I do ultimately think that yes, from off this bull market support band, Ethereum is going to see a nice bounce once again. It's also now bouncing off this major support level here, so I do think Ethereum is actually looking quite good. Of course, we could still see a little bit more downside, but it would make so much sense for me that now Ethereum is going to initiate the bounce of that bull market support band, just like we saw exactly here. So yes, I will be adding more Ethereum in this buy the dip zone. I do think it's going to be a huge opportunity, also like the June and May consolidation phase. So yes, I'm making use of exactly that. I do think Ethereum is now trading in somewhat of a range. It's basically that simple. We could drop a little bit lower to retest, of course, the support of the range. Then we could maybe head a little bit higher once again to the range highs before eventually breaking out to new all-time highs. That would make a lot of sense to me. And yes, I still think that's going to be next for ETH. And now I do want to take a moment to discuss our private Telegram trading group, because it has been absolutely insane what happened here during the Bitcoin liquidation event and during that Bitcoin crash to the downside, because one of our traders was fully short on Bitcoin before this move got started. It's absolutely insane. He went short at the 124k level and he did hold it all the way to the 109k level here. So he made an insane amount on his trades, and not only on Bitcoin, also on a lot of other trades. This is definitely one of the best scalp traders out there, and you can basically follow his trades just by signing up with the link in the description under this update video to our private Telegram group. And me myself, I'm also active in this group, so yeah, make sure to come and check this out. I'm also sharing my updates here. I will be sharing more trades eventually, also altcoin trades that will be opening in the near future. So yeah, make sure to come and check it out. Crypto Rover is also in there, and of course 5 professional other traders. And from there I will give my outlook on altcoin season and what I think is going to be next for altcoins here. First of all, the Bitcoin dominance is heading higher in the September and October months, like we have been perfectly predicting on the channel. I do think now, since the Bitcoin dominance retested this major level of basically resistance still now for the Bitcoin dominance, that is going to be the level where we could see another retest before eventually heading lower when more money is going to flow into ETH and then into altcoins once again. Now I think we are still in the stage where money is going to flow back into Bitcoin before it will eventually rotate back into Ethereum and altcoins. That would make a lot of sense for me. It's somewhat of the same what happened during 2020 here and the beginning of 2021, where also we saw a Bitcoin dominance correction. Then money did flow back into Bitcoin and then eventually into Ethereum and altcoins. And I do think something similar is going to happen. Not of the same magnitude, I think, but it could get quite similar there. And then the others market cap, so the smallest altcoins, only starts moving usually during the November months. So I still think somewhat of weak performance, somewhat of slow performance for altcoins does make a lot of sense during the October month, before November and December could truly start to be bullish, I personally think. So I will keep a close eye on this, of course, but seasonality wise it does make sense that all altcoins are not performing that well once again. And of course it also has a lot to do with ETH. Once ETH is going to initiate this final wave to the last Fibonacci retracement targets, so the 5.4k and the 6.3k targets, that is going to be the phase where your altcoins will truly go parabolic. And that is going to be the most exciting phase of the bull market, and you definitely don't want to miss that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and of course keep watching the update videos, and then eventually we are going to get into that stage, and of course I will keep you guys up to date then. And for the people that don't know, this is my Ethereum basically bull market prediction here. We have been predicting this all the way from off the lows with these important Fibonacci levels. Once again, also with this Ethereum correction, we bounced off one of these Fibonacci levels, and always all of these levels corresponded with major support or resistance for Ethereum. And that's why I do think the 5.4k level and the 6.3k level are going to be very important ones for the Ethereum price action here and for this bull market and the ending stage. And guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's update video, and I will see you guys in my next update video tomorrow.